Hello there, Internet. MegaMogwai here, and I finally shaved. So leave a like for Babyface. I got a video for you guys today on top of that, and it's a rather peculiar one, as we are going to take my favorite deck from Coreset 2020, which is the Reanimator, aka Agent Bones, and we're going to bring it to a best of 3 environment. This is something that you guys have been asking for a while, as I have featured this deck list twice ever since Coreset 2020 was released, and a lot of you have asked me to incorporate a sideboard onto it so you can play it in best of 3 and also potentially bring it to a Friday Night Magic event and play it there as well. At first, I was not super reluctant to do this because I felt like the list definitely benefited from a best of 1 environment due to the fact that it's perhaps more vulnerable than other strategies post sideboard, but the metagame has not really taken a direction towards graveyard interaction like some people predicted, and despite the fact that there are multiple tools that can effectively shut down this sort of tactic, they're not really prevalent in standard right now, which means that this bad boy can come onto best of 3 and can actually put in the work. And I spent a good portion of my stream on Sunday, I believe, testing out this sideboard, which this is the current version of it. It's been optimized quite a bit, but I do feel like it could be potentially better. The idea behind it is to support this strategy, especially in regards to both very high-paced aggro list and also versus Esper control. Today's video is peculiar because I have done this several times in the past, but I'm going to be focusing specifically on one matchup, and I'm going to show one best of 3 series that was pretty long alone, and that is the Reanimator versus Esper control, which is probably a matchup that many of you have wondered how it could potentially play out, right? I've done this in the past with several homebrews of mine. I like to tackle specific matchups, the upsides and downsides of it, and kind of like give you guys a bit of an analysis over that. Sometimes I think it's interesting from a competitive standpoint to kind of like understand how a certain deck can, take on a specific archetype. Like this video reminds me a little bit of my abs and mid-range list that I built. I think it was actually pre-War of the Spark meta. Yeah, it was pre-War of the Spark, so it was a while back versus, that current meta is Esper. So the reason why I chose this matchup is because, as I said, this sort of strategy is rather weak against Esper control, especially game 1, because we don't really have many ways to interact with Planeswalkers, and we are incredibly weak to Narset Parter of Veils, as she stops us from drawing extra cards during our turn, therefore nullifying Charter Course, Bedapater, Dust Legion Zealot, and the likes of Tomebound Lich, which are very important cards in this deck. We need to, more so than draw cards, we need to cycle through our deck and get our big boy Reanimator targets onto the graveyard, and Narset herself just completely shuts that tactic down, and we don't have the best early game presence to interact with 3-mana Planeswalkers, making us exceptionally weak versus that archetype, which is why the sideboard that I have is comprised of Triple Duress, 1 Search for Scanta, 2 Noxious Grasp, 1 Elder Spell, 2 Unmoored Egos, 1 Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, 2 Massacre Girls, 2 Enter the God Eternals, and 1 Torgar, Famine Incarnate. Now, the idea behind Torgar, which is probably the most confusing card here for a lot of you, is to have a nice Reanimator target for mono red matchups. The idea is to actually use Torgar to heal ourselves back up to 10 in a match in which we've been, we're in the red, right? Versus mono red. Pun intended. I don't know. On top of that, we have Enter the God Eternals, which can be utilized to mill ourselves and thus feed up our graveyard. So it does synergize with our strategy, but also gains us 4 life and destroys an opponent's creature, which can be very good against aggressive decks. Massacre Girl, instead of running stuff like Ritual of Soot, I see no reason not to just slap in 2 extra Massacre Girls in the sideboard for matchups in which she can be, absolutely essential. Jace is there for control matchups that drag out quite a bit. We could potentially even use Jace as a win condition, though realistically it is quite vulnerable to Stitcher suppliers just discarding him, right? Like, it is a possibility to consider. So not really a card that's going to carry you the entire matchup on its own, but I think it's an extra, reliable tool for those sorts of games. Unmoored Ego for any sort of Nexus variant that we may encounter. and then the Elder Spell and the Duresses and the Escanta to enable us to match up a little bit better versus control style builds. Noxious Grasp, really solid sideboard card. Super happy with this. Not only is it good versus Esper decks, enabling us to kill off the likes of Teferi, Time Raveler, and Big Boy Teferi as well, alongside Hero, Priest, and One, etc. It's also incredibly useful and one of our only answers to, for example, a Ceratops that is immune to our Agent of Treachery, thus making this card extremely flexible and highly efficient as well. So with this sideboard, we try to enhance those otherwise, dubious matchups. And we have a slightly modified list from before. As you can see, instead of running 4 Fedopater, as much as I love running 4 Fedopater, he is a legendary creature, and sometimes you may draw too many copies of him, and you may lose out on value and a chump blocker because you can only keep one of these creatures around. So I have 2 Fedopater and 2 Dust Legion Zealot to alleviate a little bit of pressure from that. We are also running 2 copies of Quasi Duplicate because I think this card is incredibly powerful with Agent of Treachery, and at first I thought it would be kind of a win more card, but really has been quite essential in certain matchups. More predominantly versus games that don't end quickly, aka, anything that's not aggro. But against mid-range and against control, this card can just, for 3 mana, do so much. And the fact that you can cast it twice, potentially, because of Jumpstart, makes it incredibly powerful with Agent of Treachery. But, what's the term here? Disclaimer alert. Do not, be careful when abusing this with Agent of Treachery, because if you have triple Agent of Treachery, if you stolen like 3 permanents, you are at risk of milling yourself out, which is one of the reasons why I really like the one-off of Jace Wielder of Mysteries, because if we have Jace on the board and we use Quasi Duplicate on our Agent of Treacheries, we can actually mill ourselves really fast and therefore, win the game that way, right? But if you don't have Jace on the board, be very careful when you go for that. And in this game, you're going to see me freak out a little bit, to say the least, because of this. So, interaction, which is important to consider, right? So, I've tweaked the list, like I said, a little bit here and there. I've run 22 lands now because I realize that while on paper that may seem, weird or bad, the reality is I have so much card draw and cycling through my deck. The fact that my targets for discard tend to be Agent of Treachery, Massacre Girl, and Scholar of the Ages make it so that I tend to I have more chance to draw into lands, and I draw quite a bit of lands. So if I go like 24 lands, I tend to flood with this deck, which sounds weird, but I through experience, I always do. So 22 lands has felt like the sweet spot and has enabled me to incorporate other win conditions, and this is the current version of the deck, as I've been talking about it for like 7 minutes. But, yeah, today's matchup is against Esper Control in best of 3, so you're going to see Demir Reanimator finally in the best of 3 environment. And like I said, it's a it's a weird example of a game, but I think it's pretty high quality. It's quite the roller coaster, and hopefully you guys find it fun. So that's all I got to say. Have a solid day. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry for the lack of upload yesterday. I had to do a bunch of things as we're going to be... Not only did I have to basically do the yearly inspection for my car, amongst other many things, I also am planning a trip to Madrid tomorrow, as I'm going to pick up our new doggo. We're gonna have a doggo, and yeah, hopefully all that goes well. And then the next day, my brother is going to be arriving because he's visiting for my upcoming birthday. So it's going to be a week in which I'm not really going to be streaming much, but then I'll be back at it next week onwards, and I'll stick to my schedule. And I will do my very best to make sure you guys get daily YouTube uploads, though, despite the fact that I did miss yesterday's, but hopefully you guys understand. And yeah, just want to thank you guys for the constant support. Hope you enjoy the content, and I will stop talking. Have a solid day. Enjoy the games. I'll see you tomorrow. And I have a lot of I have Surveil. Obviously, the sand's a problem. The sand is an even bigger problem. I hate when MTG Arena does this. Like, can you please let me mulligan? Thank you. Alright, let's try. Let's see if we can play Magic this time around. Let's see if we get to play some Magic. Why is it asking me to resolve? Well, why is it asking me to resolve? I can't do anything. Please no Thoughty Rager on curve. Okay. Hero of Priest in 1. Oh, I can.
We need to move quickly.
He could Tyrant Scorn. That means next turn we can Massacre Girl on him.
Let's skip to the good part.
If I draw into a land here, I can Thoughty Rager, and then I can try to concoct and hopefully find an Agent of Treachery.
Hurry!
Oh my god. This land, dude. This land. I gotta take out this land. That's devastating. Actually, I should have kept that land there. Oh boy, am I misplaying. Am I misplaying? I misplayed. Now I need to. Yeah, if I lose this game, it's on me. Completely on me. 100% on me. Why would he go for the +1? What the hell? Are you serious?
Sit at my table and let's drink.
I don't deserve this draw. I actually do not deserve this draw. Oh baby. Here we go. I don't deserve that though. I should have kept the island. I should have kept the island. I made a mistake. We definitely want Noxious Grasp here. We want the Search for Scant as well, and the Nezahal. Massacre Girl is pretty important there too, but he may just take out. I have a feeling he's gonna take out the heroes. Regardless, I feel like Noxious Grasp over Scorn is better. Cause maybe I can keep all these. Why not? Quasi-duplicate there was so fucking powerful. We also needed Duresses though. Let's go with this. I don't know. I think the quasi-duplicate is very powerful, but it's hard because I don't want to take that many creatures because otherwise I render my Blood for Bones useless. I don't even know how good Escanta is in this matchup because he does have Teferi Time Raveler. We may very well see a Thought Erasure. Okay, no. The Fairy could be annoying, but he doesn't have it. Is that a mage? Guard mage, that's completely fine. That's completely fine by me. Let's drop that to see if we can keep on drawing lands. Okay. Should we go for the Blood for Bones here? Return Scholar. Return Scholar and quasi-duplicate. And we have a 3/3 on the board. I want to surprise him potentially with a Massacre in my hand, so I want to take away. This is tough. This is actually tough, but I'm gonna go with the Zealot. So it is one of my potential targets for Blood for Bones here.
This isn't a fight you can win. Don't worry, I got
It's fine. I think this turn is better reserved to Command the Dread Horde, Teferi, Time Raveler, which we can steal, Narset. I think Command the Dread Horde is the most dangerous card, right? Made a mistake there.
That's more like it.
Could still take more damage here. Six mana.
Well, that didn't pan out.
I think I should be aggressive and go for a Chart of Course here. You know, I think that's also an unnecessary risk, right? Because if I don't pick a land, I don't pick a land. Let's just drop the Massacre Girl here. He can use Tyrant Scorn to save his hero if he wishes to. Or that. Alright.
This might be a bad idea.
I can't wait to get like Nezahal here. I really want to try Nezahal in this matchup. Okay, there's Narset.
I have just the trick for this.
Oh! Well, that's, you know, I'm not gonna complain about that. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna attack with Massacre Girl to Narset here. Alright. Ah, no.
Hone your prowess.
Here we go. Keep up the pace. You need to take a timeout.
So I gotta do this with Teferi because Narset is like the biggest threat against us. And I don't really have a good way of dealing with her, barring me just kind of like doing that. It feels really bad that I have to use Teferi that way, but I can also steal Narset, but I'd rather him like search for her again. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's completely fine. Oh, I see what you're trying to do. He's trying to just finish me off. That makes sense.
Let's try this.
That makes sense. Well, I need to watch out, don't I? I guess I'm Tome-Bound Lich.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
Cheeky you. Won't have to kill me with that. Did I miss on? I didn't, right?
Mind and body should move in unison. Keep an open mind.
Well, he knows the agent's coming. And Noxious Grasp is what's going to put me above Kaya's, Oath of Kaya's kill range. And I think we do this plus Blood for Bones. Because we do have an Agent of Treachery in the graveyard, right? No, we do not. No, we do not. Never mind. Beautiful.
No time for a break.
Meditate and prepare.
Nice. Beautiful. Noxious Grasp actually could legit be saving us. That Thought Erasure also saved me from his plan too. Oh my goodness.
Trust me. You'll thank me later.
He's going hard at it.
I've got it. Hold that thought.
Okay, how much mana is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Omega lol. There. Now you can't counter me. And because you can't counter me,
Here we go.
somebody's pissed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm gonna mill myself. Oh shit, I'm gonna mill myself. Oh fuck.
You just let me know if you're up for round 2.
Okay, so now I don't... Okay, now... Oh, I do control this too. I do control this too. So, what I have to do is I have to bring Scholar of the Ages and I have to Noxious Grasp my own thing. So before anything, I'm going to Duress. I'm going to remove this. Let's like not fucking mill ourselves, shall we?
Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
Okay, so let's tap you. Let's concoct. Let's actually like not surveil, shall we? And let's get the Scholar of the Ages back. Noxious Grasp. And Noxious Grasp.
Now what?
Omega lol. Gotta be careful with that. Oh my god, quasi duplicate.
If you show remorse, I'll show restraint.
Yeah, he wants to return that. But by going for the Noxious Grasp here, the double one,
This is hard.
we're out of Oath of Kaya range. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Let's alright. Oh my god, I almost killed myself. What kind of series was that? Was like the weirdest series I've had in a long time. Game 1, we have like no game because I just don't get to play Magic. I just have to concede because of the mulligan. Game 2. Oh, we make that comeback. Oh my god, man.